So in the previous video, we have seen what is tax and who pays it, who pays it. So this was our main question, who pays it, who pay the taxes. There were two answers. First one was uh, people who have certain amount, people who have certain amount as their income, people who have certain amount as their income uh, will pay taxes. That means not everyone pays income tax. Not everyone pays income tax. That means people who have certain amount as their income, annual income, certain amount as their annual income pays income taxes. Certain amount as their annual income pays income tax. Annual income pays income tax. That means not everyone pays income taxes, right? But in the second case, we have seen most of the people who are consumers pay indirect taxes. Most of the people, almost everyone, most of the people, almost everyone pay indirect taxes. Pay indirect taxes. We have also seen the income tax that we're talking about is a type of direct tax. Income tax that we talked about is a type of direct tax. So in this session, we'll understand what are types of taxes, what are types of taxes, and slowly we'll come to a conclusion that why the GST was introduced, goods and service tax was introduced. First, we'll understand what are types of taxes. Broadly, there are two types of taxes. One can be called as direct tax, one can be called as direct tax, and another one can be called as indirect tax. One is direct tax and another one is indirect tax. Other one is indirect tax. See, direct tax means directly government is collecting from the concerned person. That is called direct tax. For example, income tax that we have talked about, that is a direct tax. It is collected by the concerned person. Another income direct tax that I can remember is inheritance tax. Inheritance tax means the tax collected by the person wherein he has inherited some property from his ancestors. So he has to give some percentage of money from there that to the government. That is called inheritance tax. Another tax that I remember is property tax. If you have a property that is land or flat or something, you have to pay property tax to the local government or the municipal corporation. These are all the direct taxes to paid to the local governments, central governments, etc. What are the indirect taxes then? Indirect taxes are indirectly collected by the people, by the end users. In the previous video, we have seen the example. So if a manufacturer has produced pencil, he has sold it to retailer. So retailer or manufacturer, they will pay some taxes. That taxes are included in the cost of the pencil. So that indirect taxes will be where first the indirect taxes were value added tax, VAT. This was called value added tax. This is called value added tax. This was one of the type of indirect tax. Then one more tax was octroi, that is entry tax. Whenever some consignment is coming from other state, then the concerned state government will collect octroi or entry tax. Entry tax. Custom duty. Custom duty. This is also type of this is also type of indirect tax, or else we can say excise duties. Excise duties. These are all indirect taxes. These are all indirect taxes. So these taxes, some are collected by the central government, some are collected by the state government. So whenever someone has to do a business, some a firm from abroad or else outside the country, some firm is coming to our country and has to do business or else manufacture and sell their product, then they found it difficult because the indirect taxes that they have to pay were very complicated, very complicated. That means what, every state had its own way of collecting taxes. Center had other taxes, state has some more taxes, and they were not connected to each other. Therefore, for example, yeah, I'll tell you, for example, the business, the firm has already paid some tax on a product that cost rupees 100. For example, he had paid rupees 10 to the center. Now the cost of the product become rupees 110. Now some percentage from rupees 110 has to be, for example 10%. 10% of this has to be again paid to state government. Now he cannot ask the state government that he has already paid some tax to some other some central government also, because they had no connection. So this was different, this has to be paid differently, this has to be paid in a different way. They were not connected, it was different, they were different from each other. No matter what, how much you have paid here, it has nothing to do with what you're paying here. And the taxable amount was taken as rupees 110. That means the cost of the product and also the tax, though both were taxable amounts. That means this tax that we have paid, again the tax on this tax has is being collected. That means 10% of 110 is what? Let's say it is rupees, 10% of 110. That means 110 into 10 by 100. How much it will be? It will be rupees 11. First, that means rupees 11 will have two components: tax on the cost of the product rupees 100, and tax on the tax that has already been paid. Tax on the tax that has already been paid. This effect is called cascading effect. This effect is called cascading effect. That means you are collecting tax on the money that has been paid as a tax already. This is called cascading effect. This made very difficult for the businesses from outside or within the country, and they had to pay more taxes, and the end product that a consumer got has to be have was very costly. It was very costly, because at the end of the day, the firms which are paying taxes here has will not pay directly, will pay to the government, and that tax will be collected again from the consumer. So a product which cost rupees 100 due to cascading effect, it will cost, including profit and all, rupees 160 and so. So 27% or to 37% of the cost of the product was that of taxes only. Taxes only. This was the effect. This was the complication that this multiple indirect taxes had. So what government did was, it merged all these taxes. It merged all these taxes. There are many more indirect taxes that we did not talk about, but then for understanding, just understand, it has merged all these indirect taxes and called them and made one tax only. That is goods and service tax. Goods and service tax, which is called GST, which is called GST.